Thank you guys for joining us for episode 3 of the James Show. Today, I have Adrien, I have Joe. They're going to introduce themselves. We're going to get right into financial literacy and life insurance. So introduce yourself for me, guys.
My name is Adrien Jones. I work for Primerica Social Service.
That's all right, just keep going, don't worry about it.
Financial Services, sorry.
Primerica Financial Services.
Primerica, yes.
Okay, perfect.
How you doing, guys? I'm Joe Martinez. I'm a sales manager with Family First Life. Been in the industry for about 7 years now.
Okay, how long you been in so far?
Well, I joined in 4 years ago.
Okay.
So when I turned 18.
Okay.
But I didn't actually start doing it because I go to school for software engineering.
Gotcha.
So I actually started working probably last year.
Okay, so you're doing both.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to have you both on is because, Joe, we've had many interviews before.
Yeah.
You give great content to the viewers. You give great information. I have life insurance. You've helped me with that.
Yep.
You know Ahmad. You know everybody damn near in the family. So the reason why life insurance is more important now than ever it was before is we have COVID.
Yeah.
We have an increase in violence across the country. In addition to something you shared with me about life insurance now at a younger age. Expand on that for me a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously there's different companies out there that can offer coverage for even for minors.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when somebody has a baby, as long as they have like typically like a 14-day window and they get their Social Security card and all their certificates,
right,
they can actually get insurance.
Damn. Okay.
Of course, like there's a little bit of taboo with that, James, because a lot of people they think, well, I don't want to get insurance on my kids.
Right.
But then, unfortunately, some kids, all of a sudden they get diagnosed with some type of cancer.
Right.
Or what's going on in the recent news lately with all the
Texas,
shootings,
right,
all that stuff. Like, oh, God forbid.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need it, and people don't realize that they can get insurance for their kids too.
Got you. So, Adrien, tell me, what made you get into such a young age? Youngsters like yourself, you guys are becoming influencers, or you're just out there living your life, but you're out there actually helping people and families. And one of the reasons why, the biggest reason why I wanted you on, because I want people in your age group, 19, 20? 21 to understand that they need life insurance and how that can benefit them in the long term. By the time you're 31 to 41, you have a nice savings.
Yeah, so I started because my auntie and my uncle, they're actually brokers with the company.
Okay.
They're six-figure earners, they're ring wearers, power builders, and
Gotcha.
all that. So they're the ones that actually got me in.
Okay.
So I wasn't thinking about doing.
They just brought you
my uncle,
into
my
it.
auntie, like, you want to do insurance? I'm like, nah, I don't want to do no insurance.
Okay.
That don't sound appealing to me.
Right.
Mind you, I was 18, so
Okay.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I left for school. Then COVID happened.
Gotcha.
We went home. And so I came back and I started staying with my auntie and them. So I see they're going on trips, they're doing this.
Okay.
They're
So they
making a lot of
inspired
money.
you.
They
Yeah.
inspired me, basically.
Yeah.
And then the people I was around weren't making money like that, going on trips or anything. So I'm like, okay, I need to follow them. Older people usually have the right route for you to go to. If
Right.
people my age aren't doing what they're doing, so
Right.
I'm going to follow them.
Right.
A lot of people just follow, the influencer,
Or the trend,
TikTok, the
things like
trends,
that,
and all of
yeah.
that. But that stuff is good. But if you have a bigger dream than just that,
Yeah.
then I would go with what I did.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I basically did it. My auntie and my uncle inspired me a lot.
Okay, good deal. So what are you seeing as far as people your age, and when you tell them about life insurance and what's going on, how they feel about that?
And
What's their first reaction? Man, I
I don't need no life insurance.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna live forever.
that's what we think. Yeah. But I actually had a lot of friends that passed away that are my age that I went to school with, and since we're little, and they didn't have life insurance, so they're doing like GoFundMe's and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do that. So my auntie and my uncle, they helped me out with all that, and then they showed me like you can help somebody out and you can get benefited for it too.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so let me. What's the
best of
number?
both worlds, right,
What's up?
right.
So the
So
more
you helping
people you help,
and helping yourself.
yes.
Good.
But it's actually fun helping a lot of people though, because
Okay.
it's bigger than just post. Like I used to make videos,
Right.
with a mod in them.
Right.
But it's bigger than you get a bigger audience that you're touching when you actually helping people.
That's true. So, Joe, expand really quickly on the life insurance. It's different. We always talk about this, the term life insurance, all these different, not saying adjectives for life insurance, and then the benefits. So, someone like Adrien gets life insurance at 21, and God forbid he doesn't pass until he's 80 or 90. How does that help him moving forward financially? Because you see, really quick on TikTok, you see the financial and entrepreneur guru. Well, I borrow against my I borrow against my life insurance. Or I use my life insurance to fund this plane. And is that just hype? Or give us some real details about that, please.
Yeah, so typically it really depends on the proposed insured's needs.
Okay.
How much insurance you need, the age, the health. You know, a lot of people think that you could just buy insurance.
Right.
It's not necessarily, you have to qualify for it, right?
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
based on your health, pretty much, because the companies are going to study to see what are the probabilities that you're going to die in a certain time frame. So
Damn.
if you have like a lot of responsibility, term insurance is going to be the most affordable out there, right?
Okay.
If you want to get, typically it's like kind of like you're renting life insurance. The permanent one, you're buying it for the rest of your life as long as you keep on paying the premiums. So if you're thinking about more long term, there's a whole type of out there. There's whole life, there's index universal life, there's universal life. So it really depends on,
Okay.
it's so confusing. And typically they don't teach this in school either.
No,
so
not at all.
you want to get someone like him or myself to be able to educate you first and see what is it that you need, what are your goals, what's your health like,
Right.
to see if you even qualify for it. You were talking about COVID earlier. COVID impacted the industry a lot. I started actually at the beginning getting nervous because typically you sit down in front of the client.
Right.
But you know how those restrictions,
Yeah,
like
you
you gotta
can't
stay
sit down
apart.
there, right.
So luckily for our industry, we just pivoted to virtual sales, right?
Okay.
Meeting on, these
On
these
Zoom.
virtual platforms to be
Okay.
able to communicate with someone and still be able to educate them and see what, are they married? Are they single? Do they have kids? Are they homeowners? Are they renters? How much income they make a year? What's your health? To be able to determine, okay, based on your unique situation, these are typically the best top 3 options for you. You tell me which benefits you and your family the most.
Gotcha.
So based on that, it's our responsibility is just like kind of like field underwriters.
Right.
Right. We're trying to get to the clients to be able to see what they're looking for, make sure their budget, because the last thing we want is for them to cringe every single time the insurance company is taking out their premiums.
Exactly.
Or taking food off the table, then down the road they're going to cancel it
Right.
because they're like, oh, you know what? I can't afford it anymore. So we want to
And then
make sure
they
that
need it down the road.
And they need it. Yeah.
Here's a question I have for you, and this is, again, why I brought both of you in, because it's a different age group.
Yeah.
In your age, Adrien, what are you seeing the health of people? I mean, obviously you work out, you came from the gym before you came here. What kind of health are you seeing? And then how does, with a lot of states legalizing marijuana, how does that affect insurance, that process?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, with the way people are my
Right.
age, like it's not that many people that have like health issues.
Okay.
There is people that have it, but people my age usually don't have health
That's
issues.
good, okay.
So you might get a few. There's always that few that you get. Like there's always positive and negative,
Right.
like type of thing. But people my age, they're most likely in good health.
Good health, okay.
When you go 28, 29, 30 up there,
Right.
then that's when you start. I got an enlarged heart. I got high blood pressure. That stuff affects it.
Yeah.
So if you get a policy like right now, 300,000 in coverage, you can get a policy. My age in 20s, it could be the least you can get one. There's policies like $30 a month. Then there's policies when you get to like your 40s, 50s.
Right.
Those policies like around 300, 400, 500 a month for the same amount of coverage
Gotcha.
because you're older. So I tell a lot of people my age get it now because it'll always stay low as long as you keep your policy.
Oh, so if I get that, if somebody gets when they're young, like you,
Mm-hmm.
at 20, I mean, for 30, 40, 50 bucks a month, it stays at the duration?
Well, it doesn't stay at the same
Oh,
price.
okay,
It
okay,
goes
but it
up
just stays
over time
low.
with your, their health
your health
and all of
then,
that.
gotcha.
But it stays low.
Okay.
It'll be, so me and you, like if you got yours at 18, I got mine at 25, yours is automatically going to be lower than mine. We
Okay.
kept them forever. Mine is still going to be lower than yours
Got
because
it.
I got mine before you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then Joe, what are you seeing with marijuana becoming legal, things like that? How does that impact your insurers as well?
Yeah. So most of the carriers that I work with, they used to have what's called smoker, non-smoker, and then they switched it to tobacco, non-tobacco.
Okay.
And now here's the interesting part, because now we have the electronic cigarettes.
Oh, yes, right.
Right? So some carriers actually, they only consider not even just chewing tobacco or pipes or
Even the hookah,
cigarettes.
right?
Yeah.
Is that
So they're considering more cigarettes, not necessarily the chewing tobacco or the pipes or the e-cigarettes, but like a regular cigarette.
Right.
When they're going to rate you as a smoker, so that's going
wow.
to affect you because you're prone to get some type of cancers and whatnot. But obviously, the insurance industry or the companies they see that there's a huge market and there's people always doing it, so they got their mathematicians, right? I call them.
Yeah.
And they're
They know the
considering
numbers.
all the variables to see. Okay, I'm gonna consider this person that takes chewing tobacco a different way versus a cigarette.
Gotcha.
Because cigarettes have a whole bunch of chemicals inside of it, right? So it's a little bit different. Or even the people that do just the chewing one or the what's it called, like the patches, stuff
Right.
like that. So they're working their magic to see how they can still offer those clients, even if they smoke marijuana, coverage.
Okay.
Based on, okay, so that's what you do, but let me take consideration all this stuff right now. But, going back to what you said right now about that ties into having non-medical, especially since COVID started. A lot of companies out there, they're not doing medical exams anymore.
Okay.
Because typically when they do that, it's going to get recorded on their medical information bureau. So if someone does a physical exam, blood work, urine, or mouth swab, it's going to get recorded. So if something happens where the client is not going to qualify because they found out that their liver is bad or their kidneys or whatever they found on the blood work or urine, now it's going to get recorded. It's going to affect them with other carriers.
Damn.
So insurance companies are seeing this trend. So they're like, especially with COVID happened, they're like, let's do non-medical to avoid that physical contact. So now they adjusted their premium. So now they obviously, again going back to the mentioned physicians, they're going to consider for a certain amount of coverage how much they're going to charge you for your premium without necessarily doing medical.
Right.
Just looking into your medical background and your prescription record.
Wow.
And with that, people can get approved pretty much just looking into your history.
Okay.
Now, some carriers are picky, and if you have never been to the doctor and there's nothing to look, think about it, James. If you're the owner of the insurance company, and let's just say you're trying to get him in coverage, but then he's never been to the doctor, you're like, bro, come on.
What's going on with you?
There's nothing I can compare. Like, I don't even know about your health, so I might have to hey, I'm gonna send a nurse. And if you don't want to, that's okay. We'll just drop it from here on out.
Gotcha.
But at least people have some options now. And insurance companies, because everything's adapting, right? It's not gonna be this. It's kind of like this. We have these smartphones now. Before, remember the flip phones or the Zach Morris phone?
Exactly.
So insurance products have been adapting as well to be able to accommodate to today's society.
That makes sense.
And that's when it comes down to you need to sit down with someone to educate you first and foremost, take a look at your goals, your needs, and your plan, and really get to know that person to see, am I going to be able to trust this person to be able to get coverage for me and my family so that when I'm gone, that policy is going to pay out a death benefit so that my family doesn't have to change their financial status because I'm gone.
Or do a GoFundMe.
Or do that.
So what it sounds like is that the marijuana doesn't affect the insurance.
Not necessarily, no.
Because I've never smoked marijuana. I mean, I've been around, I've contact, but I've never actually done it. However, it seems like now there's a medical benefit, so excuse me. I was thinking it seems like it could even help you, when you go in there marijuana, okay, well hell, we're gonna give you a little bit lower, we'll give you a marijuana discount, because you smoking that marijuana. I don't know.
And when it comes down to for that, right, that's medication or whatever, sometimes it could be recreational, it could be medicated. Even it comes down to medicine, especially because that's why they look into the prescription record.
Okay.
Some medicine, for example, I know that metformin, typically, I'm not a doctor by the way, but it's used typically for people that are diabetics.
Okay.
But it turns out, I didn't know this until recently, were some, I think they're called BYONs, right, for the women.
Right.
Sometimes they prescribe metformin for women that have polycystic cysts in their ovaries. Right. Because it's been shown, or some studies have shown, that especially that they dissolve the cysts. So imagine now that same woman is trying to get insurance, and it comes up, oh, she's taking metformin. Yeah. But me as an agent, I have to do my due diligence. Okay, why are you taking?
Look into it deeper, right?
So then I have to build a case for my client. Yet, hey, she's taking metformin, but it's for these reasons.
Right.
There's other medications that people get prescribed.
Right.
That it's typically for a certain area, but then doctors, because they know that it has a benefit for another area, that's where they're taking it. So I got to build a case to the underwriter from the company, hey, this client is taking this medication for these purposes. Okay. Not necessarily because they have this condition, but it's because the doctor said for this.
There's reasons.
And then the underwriter from the company is like, oh, okay.
It makes sense.
Gotcha.
It's just like in real estate when you get a loan. Why is this person keeping money under the mattress? And why do they have this collection? Why did you file bankruptcy this much time? So I get that. Adrien, tell me, your age, staying focused, obviously I follow you on social media. How are you aligning yourself to hit your goals? Everybody else is out there partying like a rock star and just living life in their 20s. You're staying focused and you're trying to help people. How do you keep that focus so that people know and you can inspire some other people who may want to get into business but who just need inspiration to stay on course?
Yeah, so actually, why I got so focused in, my dad ended up passing away in 2020 when I had got back out here from school. So that happened, and my mom had lost the house and all that. So that was really got me on the right track. I couldn't be out partying and all of that. I'm supposed to be the man of the house now. So I started focusing up, getting coaches. I don't know if you ever heard of Recession Proof.
Okay, I heard of that one.
Him 500 and them. Okay. So I joined it. It's credit, and it basically you're not supposed to be affected by any recessions.
Okay.
So they show you avenues how to make money and all of that. And then my auntie was showing me this other stuff too.
Gotcha.
So
So you're doing both of them?
yes.
Okay.
I got some coaching,
Gotcha.
and I started dialing in with it and just
Okay.
just focusing up. So I started like working out. I was getting kind of chubby, so I started working out.
Okay.
Now my schedule is like more in depth now.
And then hang out with you.
So that goes to where we were talking about in a previous interview, and just you see the memes on social media, the people that you hang around,
Yeah.
the people that you're around. That makes a difference as far as how you progress. Because if you're around somebody who ain't doing nothing, and like, hey man, we just gonna hang out and smoke weed and
Yeah.
chase women, like that's what you're gonna become.
Yeah.
But you're around your auntie, your uncle, people who are focused, and that's what you're becoming.
Yeah, I don't even hang around people my age like that, honestly. Everybody I hang out with is probably like 30, 40,
Okay.
50.
That makes a difference in your
They're older
mindset.
people, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got that right coaching, honestly.
Okay,
There's the
good.
mindset change.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Then. Then Joe, where do you see the industry going? I know you said they're making adjustments because of COVID. If I don't have life insurance, I want it. First question is, what would you all pick? What would you say? Okay, I want the basic life insurance so my family doesn't have to do a GoFundMe. If I have a house or some properties, what would be a good life insurance? And then at the end of the day, just overall, because you had mentioned before, like I have two children, I have Tierra and Ahmad. If I wanted to get them life insurance, and even my nephew who's 9, would that be beneficial with all those different policies?
Yeah. So basically, for example, when you're talking about somebody that's a homeowner, there's what's called mortgage protection, right?
Okay.
That basically what it is just a life policy that it's either going to cover the entire loan.
Okay, good.
So let's just say someone has a $500,000 policy.
Okay.
You get them either a permanent or term, it doesn't matter, but as long as it's $500,000. Or maybe the client just wants to cover half of the loan.
Okay.
So then we get $250,000.
Oh, wow.
Or sometimes people, here's the reality of what happens. When a husband and wife is a homeowner and one of them passes away, typically that person, the spouse, the widow, sells a home within a year or two.
Gotcha.
Because going back home
Yeah, it's
without
tough.
that, it's
Yeah.
bad memories, right?
Exactly.
Like you're like, I don't want to live here anymore. I thought I was
Right.
going to build a life,
Right.
and now my spouse is gone. So what we do is give enough coverage. So let's just say that the client is paying, I don't know, $2,000 of mortgage payment.
Okay.
We calculated just say 2 or 3 years worth of that, so that if the spouse passes away, the widow can still make payments for another 2 or 3 years, without having to worry like, how am I going to pay the mortgage this month?
Oh, so that insurance helps to pay the mortgage also?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
So it's
Okay.
like, but it's enough money so that you can keep on paying the mortgage without having to worry until you decide if you're going to sell or you're going to end up staying.
Gotcha.
So it's really about affordability. It has to come down to affordability and make sure that you qualify for it.
Okay.
Cover the entire loan, half of the loan, or just a certain amount of period of time. Some people, they just want to get some final expense, so it's not too much coverage, $5,000, $30,000, wherever. So they could just cover the funeral expenses or
Okay.
final expenses, I should say. Some people, they want to have something for their kids, like I was talking earlier today. They could actually give it to them when they turn 18. That child gets grandfathered in, keep on making the payments, and it's locked in for the rest of their life.
Oh, wonderful.
And if the kid gets married, they have a baby, they become a homeowner, or they turn, let's just say 30, 35, or 40, they could add more coverage
Oh, wow.
without having to prove insurability.
Okay.
So imagine you get your child, I don't know, a $20,000 policy for, I don't know, let's just say $10 a month. It's going to stay locked in. They turn 25, or I'm sorry, 30, they could add another 20 grand without having to prove if they're insurable or not. They
How-
get grandfathered.
Is it difficult to get the younger, like, let's say I want to get a mod insurance. Is that difficult to get him insurance? No. All right, call him mod, man. Tell
I'm
him
about to
who
go over
are.
there after this.
Yeah, yeah. Tell him. Take the paperwork. Tell him to sign it, man. I need to make sure that brother's okay. Him and Jabril. If anything happens to them,
Yeah.
I mean, and we laugh, but that's serious.
Yeah.
Now that we have to deal with that, every day, and that definitely makes a difference. So, Joe, in reference to what you were just saying, what would you suggest for any first time, or actually both of you, what would you suggest for any first time person who doesn't have any life insurance, who says, hey, you know what? I gotta pay my rent's high as hell in California, or a mortgage. I have a car note, I have car insurance. What's the basic insurance that I can get to protect me so my family doesn't have to do a GoFundMe and stand on the corner with a damn sign and I can get buried and be okay?
So,
Say something?
yeah, so funeral cost, like my dad, he didn't have life insurance.
Okay.
But my dad had health issues. His heart was messed up.
Okay.
Kidneys were messed up. Like, he was messed up. So a regular funeral cost when we buried him was it was around 20,000. So you would, bare minimum, I would recommend you getting around 20,000 for your policy. Depending on your age, you can get it for like $15, $20, $30, depending on where you go to and stuff like that. 20,000 is not a lot. I would recommend getting double, at least.
40?
Yeah, like 40, 50, around
inflation?
there. Yeah, with inflation and everything. And then
Gotcha.
you want to make sure, because God forbid something happened to your spouse or
Right.
something, you want to make sure that you can at least feed the kids while you're out of work for them couple days.
I'm glad you just said that. Not to cut you off. I'm not married. However, when I get married, which I'm hoping soon, I'm tired of single life. But when I do, is it difficult to add my wife on? I didn't mean to, we'll get back to that, but I just wanted to know, since you said that, made me think about that.
No, it's
if
not.
If I get married and say, hey, I want my wife on my policy, can I add her on?
Yep.
And that's easy?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Just make sure that's who you're gonna stay with.
You're right. That's very important.
Yes.
You know, that is.
Yeah, I recommend people
Yeah.
who are like, especially new age people. You know,
Right.
you get a girlfriend and you have a new one in
Right,
a couple
right.
weeks.
Yeah.
So I would recommend you having separate policies until you know
That's just
this
gonna be
is
forever.
but
Gotcha.
this is forever. Like, you want to do that, have them together. But if you're gonna split up, if you press the wrong buttons and then she got to sign something to take you
Yeah,
separate
yeah,
off,
ain't happening.
that you don't want that.
Yeah, you're
So
right. Okay.
So
I would
yeah,
actually say, to just keep it separate forever because of that reason.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of times where, because let's just say the husband was a primary, then the wife was an add-on to the policy. They separate. First thing they do is they cancel the policy on the spouse, and now if that spouse during that whole time was diagnosed with some sort of illness, now they're uninsurable and they're left with nothing.
yes.
So it's been sometimes ugly. Like, you know how some divorces
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
Like, it's been ugly, yeah.
See, I would never think with life insurance. I mean, the house, money, things like that when you get a divorce. Like,
Yeah.
I get that. But life insurance, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what if somebody forgets to take their spouse off the life insurance and they pass away and they're divorced? Does that other person still get the money?
Yes.
If they're still the beneficiary, yes.
And that's why you got to make sure you know what you're doing, because if you press the wrong button, the spouse will have to sign a paper for them to get off of the policy.
Gotcha.
And if I'm mad
like,
at
to hell
you
with
and I
you, I'm
don't
not
want to
signing
sign
nothing,
off,
right.
then
I
when
hope you die,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, because
That's horrible.
when you pass away, she still gets
Right.
the money. So I'm gonna keep mine separately.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
but
I get it.
I recommend everybody doing it separately until you know this. I'm die with this lady.
So that 40 or 50,000 you're saying with inflation, let's just say 60, 80,000. Hell, inflation and California.
Yeah.
So if I want an $80,000 policy that will cover all my funeral expenses, and then maybe even give my family a little bit of change, they maybe get 10 to 15,000. How much? Look, let's round it. Let's say $100,000 policy. What would that run me? Roughly, if I'm in decent health.
What age you are?
Yeah.
Like, are you talking about,
So since
like his age,
the
my
reason why
age?
I brought,
Yeah.
I brought you both in for this exact
Right.
same reason. Thank you. If I'm
Some-
21 and I'm 35,
Some of my age
tell me.
would be like for $100,000 be like $40.
$40.
Yeah,
That's not too
like
bad.
$40.
Yeah.
It'd be
It also
somewhere-
depends on if you get a term policy, you get it like for 10 years, it's gonna be more cheaper than if you get it for 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at my my bad.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No.
Oh, at my age, I recommend people getting at least 35 years because you don't think nothing's gonna
No,
happen.
we don't.
Especially my age,
No, we don't.
people don't think nothing's gonna
And
happen
then
to them.
a year, God forbid, 2-3 years, something happens and we're upset.
Yes, and then if you get the 35-year term, like at the end, if you live past your 35 years and nothing's wrong with you, you can actually just get another policy.
Gotcha.
And you don't have to do like a whole physical and all that because you kept your policy and paid your premium.
So $40 at the max, which is $10 a week, and then if I do it the way you were saying, Joe, how much would less expensive every 10 years? How much would that be a month?
Probably about $20, $25, depends.
So why don't I'm confused, man? We need to change this narrative. Why don't more people have life insurance? Like, we're going to die eventually. Anybody who's born is going to die.
Well, here's the thing,
It's
like, nobody
inevitable.
wakes up saying like, I'm gonna go buy some life insurance.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like, they just, for example, everybody has to go get car insurance.
Right.
Because the law says you have to
Yes.
go get life
Yes.
insurance. But nobody says like you have to. So unless like you're somebody that has like, if something were to happen to me, what's gonna happen to my spouse and kids? Or what's gonna happen, like, who's gonna pay for, like you?
Yes.
Who's gonna pay for the funeral costs or final expenses? Then that somebody's gonna be like, I need to go shop around for it.
Right.
Right? But then two things happen also. Nobody knows who to go to,
Yes.
right? Because it's like, who do I ask for help? So then they go online and then they try to search or something, unless also something like, if I know someone or that knows someone that does insurance, then I'm gonna be like, hey, don't you know a guy that does insurance?
Right.
That's the only way people actually go like to get in contact with someone, right?
Until they see this video as well, they can contact both of
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
to get insurance, and that's one of the purposes as well. Because I really want to push that, man. We may even have to do something every 2 weeks because I just truly believe that everyone needs life insurance.
Yeah.
Like there's a good friend of mine, man, I knew named Brother Linnell. We call him El Boogie. He just passes from COVID out the blue. But no life insurance, no nothing, and that just saddens me that all this time, all these children, not just for him, but just in general, as families, especially culturally, black and brown families, we don't, our family, we like put some onions in your sock. You know, get some Vicks.
Yeah.
Eat some, you know, for me as a Muslim, eat some bean soup. You know, we think that's gonna be the cure remedy. That's not always the damn cure remedy. We have to make sure we take care of ourselves. So I know with our policy, we talked about, and I always tell mine, like, look, man, when I pass, just make sure you buy some property before you buy a Ferrari, because I'm gonna hunt you. Like, don't go out there and act the fool with this
I'm gonna pull
policy.
your legs.
Yeah, don't act the fool with this policy, because you got a nice piece of change coming, you know? But at the end of the day, we want to continue to push not only for us now, but financial wealth in the future. So when you have children, I had children, but when Montiera had children, that's the importance of what we're talking about today and having that life insurance.
Well, you know, right now you're talking about the future of wealth. Like, there's one thing that I'm pretty sure everybody's been seeing it lately, and it's not a new concept though. It's called the concept of infinite banking.
Okay.
Right. So it's more for like permanent policies, right? And I've actually done a little bit of research on it because typically I'm just trying to do the insurance for what it's for.
Gotcha.
But because some policies have some benefits like cash accumulation, what I've found is like there's a guy that you guys should read the book. It's from Nash called Infinite. He's the creator of the infinite banking concept.
Okay.
And this guy talks about how you could fund your policy because it's going to pay some dividends into the policy, right? It's going to build cash value.
So you put money into the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you put money, right? So you're paying for the cost of insurance,
Right.
but then another portion is paying a dividend to build cash value with interest. A couple of years down the road, instead of going to buy some real estate, but you're going to go get a loan from the bank, you get a loan from your policy.
See, that's what I need that immediately. Sign me up.
Right?
Send me a DocuSign, because I need that immediately. I mean, that's the play.
So here's a cool thing. You take money out of your policy. Let's just say you're going to go to the bank.
Okay.
You get a loan, and the bank's going to charge you, 5% interest.
Gotcha.
And you have a $500 payment on that loan. So you borrow money from your policy, which is, by the way, it's tax-free.
Okay.
And instead of paying the bank, you pay your policy back. Like the $500 you're going to pay for the bank for the
Right.
loan, you pay your policy back.
And what's that called now? The infinity banking?
The concept is called
The
infinite
concept,
banking. Yeah.
okay.
So then your policy is earning interest. Instead of paying interest, you're earning it.
I love it.
Instead of paying the bank, which is, by the way, lending you money from other people. They don't lend
Right.
you. They don't lend you their money.
Right. You get money.
You know,
from
like
other people.
you and me, we put the money in the bank, and then
Right.
they lend it to you.
Me, right.
Yeah.
And then they charge you high interest, but they're paying me and him.
Exactly.
Or sorry, him and I.
Zero.
Pathetic interest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then here you're paying yourself back. So it's more and more, and there's a lot of stuff I've been seeing typically on social media recently, because I think that's what's hot right now.
Gotcha.
The infinite banking system. But of course, it's a great concept, James. Here's the issue: until you put people in the mix.
Gotcha.
Because people are people, and
Right.
what happens? Some people, they don't pay back. So if you borrow money and you're not a good payer, right? You know how a lot of people have bad credit
Right.
because of that,
Exactly.
So if you don't pay it back, then that policy might lapse.
Gotcha.
And if it lapses, now they can go against you for taxes.
So what's that
because,
policy called?
Typically it's called a whole life policy.
Oh, that's the whole life.
Or even a
And it-
universal life policy, depends.
What does that one start to cost? I mean, cost to start, excuse me.
I would say not really necessarily how it costs to start, it's how much money you want to put to accumulate comfortably.
So I
would
say, hey, I
at
want
least-
whole life
Yeah.
for, let's say, $500,000.
Yeah.
Then that costs me how much a month?
Well, see, that's the thing. Because if you have a $500,000 policy, you're paying the cost of insurance for $500,000.
Gotcha.
So what you want to do is you want to keep the less amount of insurance, but to max fund the policy in order for you to create the most cash accumulation possible. Because if not, you're going to pay cost of insurance for $500,000.
So let's say I get a $100,000 policy.
Yeah.
And so instead of paying the $10, hypothetically,
Yeah.
just use round numbers.
Let's just say you wanna
I
do
pay
like at least-
$50
yeah.
or $100 a month.
Well, you want to put more. You want to put at least. I have like a kind of rule of thumb that I tell my clients.
Okay.
If you're in your 20s, you should put $200 a month into it.
Gotcha.
If you're in your 30s, 300, 40s, 400.
So is that you in your 20s? Is that
50%.
realistic? Can you put $200 a month in there? Okay. Not
I mean,
you. But I'm
not
saying for, I'm saying for
everybody.
a 20-year-old.
Well, no.
Would that be realistic?
No.
What's realistic for a 20-year-old?
It's just their mindset, honestly.
Ah,
It's their mindset if they want
okay.
to. Because you
Yeah.
can. If you work at Amazon, I
Right.
think they get paid like $3,000 a month.
Or if you're
Maybe.
not buying Jordans every week, and
Yeah.
trying to buy,
How you make-
Versace
yeah.
cologne, yeah, you can do it, yeah.
Yeah, you
okay.
can do it. Anybody can do
But
anything.
you said
But
the key word, it's your mindset.
It's your mindset,
And your
yeah.
mindset makes a big difference. And that's what we're here to talk about. So really quickly before we go, on you, and not on you, Adrien, on your age group, where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years? And what do you want to say to somebody who, how would you sell to the audience who's watching and give them the importance of having life insurance at a young age? Because again, our mindset is, hell you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here. At least my granddaddy died when he was 101. You know, I'm gonna be here until at least 105.
For a lot of people, it'll be like a situation that happens for them to understand that. It's not that they're just gonna wake up and be like, yeah, I wanna make sure I can retire or something like that.
Right.
So it's honestly they're gonna wait until something bad happens.
Right. And then say, I should've called Adrien,
I should
got the insurance.
I should have, yeah, me or anybody. Like,
Right.
like it doesn't always have to be me,
No,
but it's like, get it.
Right.
Because if you, like, okay,
If
it
you
might come out wrong,
yeah.
but you're gonna pass away for free.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're not
wrong. That's
and
right.
your family's gonna be in debt because you passed away. So you're gonna leave your family in debt because
You wanna be
something
selfish?
happened to you.
Yeah.
You want to be selfish and you want to pay $20.
And if it, 20, 10, like, I mean, I don't go to Starbucks a lot, but damn, if you go to Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Jack in the Box.
People
you know,
my age spending $100 at one at Walmart.
There you go.
They go Walmart,
And
buy
you just went for
face
the
cream.
shampoo.
Yeah,
Right.
shampoo,
For the shampoo.
toothpaste, deodorant, like stuff like that. You're gonna leave out of Walmart $200, so you can do that. And then what you said, 5 to 10 years, where I
Right.
see myself, I would be the youngest $1 million earner in finances.
Okay.
I want to be the youngest $1 million earner because my coach, he's in
Gotcha.
Riverside. He's actually our hierarchy coach.
Okay.
He's the youngest $1 million earner in finances. He
Okay.
got it at 29. Him and his wife, they did it at 29. I want to do it at 24.
I love it.
So-
So you're 21 now.
Yeah, so I got
2
3 years. Yeah,
Okay.
two and a half.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my main goal.
All right, good deal. And then Joe, I know you're growing your business. You have partners now. You're bringing people in to help them get their insurance license. Tell us how that's going and where you see yourself and where you want the business to go.
Yeah, no, it's good. Luckily, it's been a blessing this past year.
Okay.
I have about 60 agents.
Oh, beautiful.
Under my agency.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been growing.
Now, is that across the country or just California?
Mostly California.
Okay.
I have maybe like just one in, Virginia?
Okay.
And one in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm, going across the U.S. I am licensed like in 11 states, I think.
Oh, really?
I just got my Utah license yesterday too.
Okay, good. For life
Non-resident,
insurance.
yeah.
Now, do
Non-resident.
you both work with the finances, 401ks and things like that as well? Okay, we have to do a part 2. We can get into that as
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
well because I want to do that. So tell me the name of the business again, and then where do you want to go? And if I want to get my insurance license, how do I contact you?
Yeah, so basically you can call me 909-263-5784 or Instagram at Joe Martinez 436. My company, what we do, we sponsor the course. You got to pay for your own licensing.
Okay.
Because we want you to have some skin in the game.
Got you.
That way you don't take it for granted.
Right.
And then it's really not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of work.
I was going to ask you,
It will
how
expose
does
your
that
work
work?
ethic. Yeah.
Is it?
It's going to expose your work ethic because
To
it's
get
a
the
lot
insurance
of...
license?
No, not necessarily. No, it's only
Oh,
a
just in
52-hour
general.
course. Yeah, it's here in California, a 52-hour course.
Okay.
You do the exam either from home or on a local approved state approved site.
Okay.
And then from there, you have to pay the licensing to California. They issue your license. You do a background check, and then you get it in the mail or pretty much in the email your license now, and then you get to work. You get appointed with the carriers. There's no inscription fees. There's no monthly fees. The training is free. We start comp up to 145%. So
Cool.
it's we work with a lot of lead vendors. That's how we get our clients.
Okay.
So a lot of people that are already, what I'm talking about, the people that are inputting their information online.
Right.
That's how we get our clients. Just call them up like, hey James, giving you a call back about that inquiry you made about
Right.
final expense insurance. I'm your agent. What's a good time we can set up a time to go over that stuff? So that's what we do. Training's free, but here's the thing. It's not really for everybody because like you were saying, the mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's no, my title is like a sales manager, but in reality, I'm not a supervisor. I'm not going to be, micromanaging
Holding your
people or
hand,
anything like
walking you
that.
through it.
I'm
You
going to
gotta
coach
want it.
them, right?
Right.
I'm going to coach them. What I tell people is like, I can't promise you success, but only one thing. If you meet me halfway, I'm going to do my best to take you the rest of the way.
Gotcha.
That's the only thing. But as far as like, where you at? How come you did this? And
Wake up, let's go.
Dude, that's why we're
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. We don't want to.
Exactly.
That's why I stayed away from the typical corporate
Corporate
America
life,
stuff.
right.
So if people are not entrepreneur minded, if they're not business minded, kind of like in real estate, right,
Right,
James?
absolutely.
If they're not going to put in the time
The
to make
work,
the phone calls, to
you're
do
not
the
getting the
appointments.
deals.
The other day, just a side story. I went all the way to India for an appointment.
Okay.
Client was like, "I'm interested." It's like I talked over the phone, but I want to meet in person.
Right.
Okay, when? I'm available tomorrow. Oh, well, if you want to get my husband and I, we're available until Sunday. So imagine on Sunday driving all the way to India.
That's traffic is ridiculous.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I'm out there. I could have been a no-show. I
Right.
could have showed up and it was like, oh, we forgot, you were
Right.
the family. But I showed up and I helped both husband and wife to get it protected. On the
Great.
way back, I'm feeling not necessarily good that I made a sale, but it's like, they even, because we by the way, we met at one of those dining restaurants.
Okay.
And I don't want to say names, but at the end, they're like, stay for dinner. we got you.
Right.
Like they were so appreciative that I did something for them that they
Invited
wanted me
you
to
in.
stay, and we're breaking bread together. That's when you take the business from here to here.
Yeah.
And
That's where you
it
get the
just came
blessing
over.
from.
Yep.
That's how you get more business. You know, when
Yep.
you go in there with, that's what we're talking about in the real estate interviews, when you go with the right heart and intention, and I want to show you, I want to help you, instead of I got to pay my car note, I need to get this money, and I'm trying to get you the highest policy, that's when you start getting more and more business.
Yeah.
And that's when you see more blessings start flowing in for you. So it
Yeah,
makes a
because
difference.
karma, in this business, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but karma will find you. So like,
yeah.
if you're doing the wrong thing,
Karma in life will find you.
yeah.
Yes.
So like, especially here, like you're gonna get it back real quick. So like, you have to. The only people that I've seen that are in the industry is because you like to help people
Yes.
and you like the money while doing it. Which is pretty much like in real estate too.
Right.
You want to help people get it, achieve their American dream, becoming a homeowner.
Right.
So you have to love it, but at least you want to get paid for it
Absolutely.
too, right? So it's a tough industry, but if you want to help people, you want to grow as an individual, and you want to make money while doing it, I think the insurance industry is a good way. I've even talked to real estate agents like, hey, get your license. You already have a book of business. Get your
Right.
license. Get a
100%.
mortgage protection or something because they need you.
Okay.
You know,
You
so-
have to consider and look at that. I wanna get you guys back in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the finance side of things. 401k, retirement, investments. Yeah, because I wish I would have known that young in real estate. I mean, I wasn't out there wilding. Before a while, I was wilding. You know, I had an Escalade, I had a Lexus, just in there, just
Spinning
in there.
rims.
No, I wasn't that ignorant. I wasn't that. That's a whole nother level of ignorance. But I'm just saying, just immature of having money and not knowing what to do with it. But my immaturity, I was able to learn a lesson and continue to move forward. You hear about some athletes' immaturity where they're losing millions of dollars. So I think that, again, your age, your influence on people who are 21, you being able to take the next age bracket and telling them, like, look, if you all start here, not saying you don't live your life and have fun while you're single and you're not married, but while you're doing that, put a little bit aside.
Yes.
Because it's gonna be a rainy day. You're gonna need some extra gas. You're gonna need to help your parents. You don't know what's gonna happen in the future, and that's what is important about living your life as a whole and being able to help the next generation and breaking generational curses.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off what you
Yeah,
were
go ahead.
saying, I believe like when you're talking to people and building your clientele, building your team and stuff,
Right.
you want to build a relationship before you need them.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing I heard, and I wanted to stick with that because
Okay.
when you do that, you're working from your heart. You're not working for a paycheck.
Right.
Yeah. So
That makes a big
I
difference.
just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
that's true. It's the same thing in our. Every time something bad in our industry, real estate industry happens, it's because somebody's just going after a dollar.
Yeah.
Or something falls or clap. But when you really try to help Miss Smith and Miss Jackson, and you try to help this person to really get this lady, the last 4 clients I've had, they've been all 50, 55. Their first house. For Miss Jackson, she inherited a house, so she had a house in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
But she closed on her escrow, damn near start crying. She never owned a house in 55 years, man. And
crazy.
that's something that we have to culturally get away from. Let's get, like, I know, so you were buying a house, and Ma said, Dad, I'm
Oh, yeah.
selling 12,000, I want to buy a condo, and he's always thinking about we're going to rent it out, and I tell my clients, even if you don't live there, buy something at Airbnb, because when
Yes.
you own real estate, there's so much you can do with it,
Yeah.
But on top of it now, when you own real estate, when you close escrow, go get you some life insurance to cover that mortgage, so if anything, God forbid, happens to you, you guys are straight.
Yeah.
Especially because there's one thing that life insurance does for you. Let me give you like a personal
Absolutely.
story. So right before COVID and September, well, my dad got diagnosed with cancer when he was like 72. In 2019, he had a conversation with us saying like, hey guys, I'm done.
Right.
After a 10-year treatment of cancer, he's like, I'm done, dude. I'm done. So obviously, as a son, you're kind of like, no, you got to keep on fighting.
Yeah, hang
but then
on.
I'm like, okay, Dad, if you're good with it, you're done. All right, I'm good with it, right? So he passed away. He went under hospice in January 2020.
Okay.
And then March 11th, he passed away.
Wow.
Right before, a week before the lockdown. So luckily, he never got to see the whole pandemic thing. Right?
Okay.
So he passed away from the cancer. Here's the thing that life insurance is different. My sister back in the day had an insurance license that she sold the policy to my dad. Over the years, my dad being like, the Mexican hardcore is like, I'm gonna cancel this.
Right.
I've already paid more than Dad, just keep it because it's gonna be there for us. So
Right.
when he passed away, let me tell you this. On March, if you guys do a little bit of memory, in March 2020, it was raining. So if we were to do a car wash, who are we gonna wash the car if it's raining?
Right.
We can't, the funeral home said no more than 10 people inside because
At
of the
time.
whole restriction.
Right.
Who are we gonna sell food to do like a bake sale?
Right. To
if
raise money.
If we can't,
Even get together.
right? People are like so scared. And then who are we gonna ask for? Like, hey, can you pitch in?
Right.
Everybody was getting furloughed.
Yeah. People aren't
businesses were
working,
closing.
trying to get a check.
right?
Yeah, we don't have no money for that. We love you, but we don't have it.
Yes.
So it was up to me and to go with my mom to the funeral home, and I remember the lady going like, okay, so this is how much, then this is this, and we're trying to go for the cheapest thing, right?
Right.
I remember she's going through the list of the prices of everything, and I'm calculating. In my savings account, I have this much. Credit card, this much. I want to ask my brother, my sister.
Right, you
I'm trying to
add it all
calculate
up.
so that my mom doesn't have to come up with money. And I'm just thinking, right? Because I remember I was mourning at the time. I'm trying to keep it together. My mom's crying right next to me.
Right.
The lady right here is trying to like keep it together too, like, and I'm just thinking like this, and I'm trying to keep everything, be the rock. And then my mom goes like, so when the lady's like, okay, so the total is this much. My mom goes in there, pulls the policy. This is my husband's life insurance policy. Charge it from here. Like, okay, takes the policy, calls.
So you didn't even know.
No, I can't remember. Remember, dude, like this was like 10 years ago.
Right.
So I'm like, and I just feel like this weight.
Right, coming off
Right?
your shoulders, yeah.
And she comes back, she's like, okay, sign this paper that you're gonna authorize this. After that, James, they treated us like
royalty. Yeah, that's how it is. Like, wait, you got this much money? What,
Yeah,
no,
so you're like, okay.
come to the VIP coffin. I mean, not like that. No offense, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
come to the back, right? No, you don't want these wooden coffins.
Yeah.
Come to the pearl coffin. Like, wait, you didn't even tell us you had this.
Like, what?
Right, you got
Marble?
cherries back here, right? You got
got
horses, you know.
Who chiseled it?
Right,
The Pope? No.
exactly.
So it was like this thing where,
A sigh of relief.
right?
Right.
We could breathe. I could mourn my dad's passing. My mom could, my family could too, without having to worry. Now we hold this because remember back in the day too, it was so many people dying from COVID that people didn't have enough money to pay.
Right.
So they were just in the fridge.
Yeah.
And for us, it was so quick. I kind of thought that first the lady was kind of trying to push us for a sale.
Right.
Because she was doing things like so quickly, right? So it turns out, so my dad's viewing was on I think on the 17th. 2 days later, I remember it was a Friday. The girl calls me just to follow up, saying, "Hey, how was everything? Did you
Right.
need something else? Your mom's gonna get. Don't worry about it. Your mom's gonna get the balance of the
check,
money a few days from now." And she said, "I just wanted to say something. I know I kind of felt that you were thinking I was just trying to push the sale, but in reality was this because from corporate, we got notifications that we're going to lock down the funeral homes.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if you guys remember, people couldn't be at the funeral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So the girl, remember my mom was like, pretty much in tears
Right.
the whole time. She said, I just remember that I saw my mom on your mom. And I wanted to help you guys because it was for you, it was just not another transaction.
Right.
It was like, I would see her, like she looks like my mom.
Right.
My mom passed away, so she kind of like saw my mom and her
She
mom.
could feel it, right.
So she was like, I really wanted you guys to be the opportunity to say goodbye to your dad because of it. So I thank her so much. She's in Montebello and Whittier.
Okay.
And life insurance was there when we needed it. And I guess
That's
that's
the
why,
key.
yeah, that's why you and I do what we do, because it's not for you, it's for your loved ones to stay behind when you pass away.
Right.
And for us, I got to see it. So when that happened, it was a shift in my mindset because I got to see the other end of it.
Yes.
I got to see what life insurance did for us.
Right. And you sell it.
And I sell
Right,
it.
and you
right?
sell it, yeah.
I never
That makes a
actually
big
experienced
difference.
it until then.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Well, thank
Luckily, knock on wood, to this day, 7 years, I've never had my first death claim. So
Okay.
I hope it's going to be more years from now, but I know eventually it's going to come. And I know that I have to be mentally prepared for it because, when I have to go and deliver that check, it's going to be a tough
It's
one.
tough. It is. So. Well, thank you both for
Yeah.
your time. I
Thank
greatly
you.
appreciate it. I appreciate the information. I will make sure in this video everything is tagged and phone numbers, websites, everything from A to Z. And we just want to continue to encourage people to get life insurance. If you contact my two good friends or you contact anybody, just have some life insurance
Yes.
because at the end of the day, it may seem like a $10, $20, $50 a month now. Cause I know sometimes when I see it, I was like, what the hell? Oh, okay, life insurance. Okay, cool. But I had to automatically think about the children.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it is. And I think about how I should have had it before my mom passed, and I had it and I let it lapse. Just all these different things. So with that being said, thank you guys again. Get life insurance. We're
Thank
gonna
you.
do a part 2 on finances coming up soon, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
So,
James.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.